even before we get into the starting that point, I just want to point out something that I think is so important for those listening that are just starting out. It's just the sheer power of initiative. Did you know the guy from Read Write Web? You didn't, right? You cold email him probably. Okay, so
A lot of great things in my life came from very crazy cold
yeah,
emails.
I would love to expand on that because I also cold email quite a lot, and I receive a lot of cold emails. But when I cold email someone, you're cold emailing someone that's busier, wealthier, and more powerful than you. So take the time to write a logical, well crafted message and make it easy for that person on the other side to just respond. You don't need to close the deal on that very first message. All you need is a response, right? I right.
Exactly. And people get cold emailing very wrong these days. Like, uh, if you are cold emailing and fighting for attention of somebody who he doesn't know you, he doesn't care about you, and you care about their attention. You really have. Sometimes I spend hours crafting an outreach message because ultimately you want to say why this matters, what's in for you. And most people forget the basics. I imagine the amount of email you get. Hey Pedro, can I have a
Oh my god.
coffee? And but no, I have coffee at
Yes.
home.
It's crazy. But I love what you said, right? Like, I mean, today you run a business, a global company. You've raised millions of dollars in venture, millions of dollars in revenue, and it's a massive project. And you still spend hours thinking about how to reach out to people, being thoughtful, right, and understanding that the world, the universe, and other people, they don't owe you shit, and it's your responsibility to like prepare yourself and craft a correct message to people so they engage. You don't need to close it first. So, I mean, I receive an insane amount of shit, but I also receive here and there very, very, very good messages. And over time, I think the more successful that you are, you continue to just get these reach outs of people that are. I think it's a combination of ignorance because no one really educated them on like how these things work, and sometimes arrogance where they feel like they are entitled for your time, knowledge, or expertise, right, without really preparing. It's the same thing here. Like before we jump on this call, we send you a bunch of stuff, we get ready, we study, we think about it, and we've known each other for many years. Technically, I know that maybe if we didn't do anything, we could just say, hey, let's catch up, and that would be fine. And it's not really the approach that we take, right? Because we respect you. And I think that it's so important that people understand that cold emailing can change your life, but just, but
Yeah,
make sure that it's a good freaking message.
yeah. I met some of the guys that I had transformative learning experiences from them. They are a lot more successful and busier. All I did was to try to generate value up front and be explain my why. So a few names that come to mind. I was trying to learn the SaaS sales. I cold email Aaron Ross with very specific things, and it ended up becoming a friendship. I helped him launch his and promote his books in Latin America. He has always been a supporter of us.
That's
Uh,
great.
when I was mastering SaaS metrics, David Scott, I went to we had several conversations and totally it's insane the amount of generosity. Like he wasn't investing in Latin America. We were not the right fit for the investments, and we had several sessions in which I learned from him. And I can name like 10 cases of I know you can as well, but
No, please. No,
it's
keep that.
something
I
that
think that,
really
yeah,
changes my
it's
life.
important for people to know. because it's there are, and sometimes I do the same thing. You try to, because you know that there's on the other side, because if you write a good email that's technically qualified, that shows that you've done your homework, that you've done some research, and suddenly you're there asking him about a very specific question in terms of like, how do I think about cost of acquisition for my company? Should I include the electricity bill and the payroll aspects of, like the entire sales team, or just this part of the sales team? And then, I also have this question regarding digital attribution on a few of my page. These are complex problems. You don't have obvious answers. A lot of the things are still being figured out. And he's also very interested in how you are thinking about these things, right? So, but the problem is, I've been recently in one of these conversations where it's a founder that very very far from being in a potential investment, but she was sending me these long messages, and I was very honest. I was like, I think your market is uninteresting. It's small. You're not being ambitious enough on your idea. And many people, the minute they receive that, they're like, oh, this guy's an asshole because he's not. I'm like, no. It's like, we do venture. It's a very specific mathematical model for what we do. And you're pinging a venture person. Are you aware of who you're getting in touch with? And I'm just going to provide you my perspective for my business, right? And then after, I don't know, 10 emails or so, she's like, oh, my lawyer recommends that if we want to continue the conversation, we need to sign an NDA. My response was just basically like, look, Google NDA venture capital. And by the way, I think you should get a new lawyer. Thanks. Like, that was just my response. But these are four emails that were me, like, kind of well written and so forth. But people don't understand that David at Matrix, or Jason Lemkin, or Aaron, like, they're looking for people like you every day. It's their job. They want to connect, but you got to make it easy for them, right?
Yeah, definitely.